Hey, Mark here. I have a really cool giveaway for you. I have 5 digital copies of Transformers Rise of the Beasts available, and if you'd like to enter for a chance to win, just shoot me a message and be like, hey, Mark, I would like a chance to win a digital copy of Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Yeah, just let me know. So, buy or rent Transformers Rise of the Beasts on digital today. Optimus Prime and the Autobots team up with a powerful faction of Transformers known as the Maximals to save Earth in this adrenaline-filled adventure. Get over an hour of bonus content when you buy on digital, available at participating retailers. Rated PG-13 from Paramount Pictures. Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is Billy Papalapadopoulos.
That's my Greek name.
Billy Patterson. How you doing?
Yeah, dude. I think I pushed you to want to do this one because we were talking about soundtracks that just absolutely went hard in the 90s. And I don't think you can talk about them without talking about this one.
This one goes hard. It's like real hard. It's Rage Against the Machine and
Right. Yeah.
Silverchair.
We'll talk about the Rage thing. I didn't realize at the time there was even controversy about the Rage Against the Machine song until you listen to it.
And all the product plays. They talk smack about Godzilla.
A song that hates the movie it's on the soundtrack for. Great.
And Tom Morello also worked on the Puff Daddy song, like the Kashmir kind of cover, not cover, the Kashmir cover that blew up.
It was kinda. It was.
Yeah. And I didn't even know what Kashmir was in '98. I was 16. I kind of listened to music of what that was on the radio. That was now the current stuff. But I just saw Puff Daddy on stage rocking out to that song. And I went, "This is cool." And then I'm like, "Oh, who's Jimmy Page?" So I looked him up. And then I learned about Jimmy Page through
exact same. I had no idea at that in 1998, that summer, I am just finishing elementary school. So I'm going into junior high the next year. I had no idea who Led Zeppelin was. Jimmy Page, I just assumed was like this. This is so sad. I just assumed that Will Smith is to DJ Jazzy Jeff as P. Diddy is to Jimmy Page. Had no idea who he was.
And listen, this isn't I feel like Heroes by the Wallflowers is kind of a paycheck gig from good old Jacob Dylan. But Puff Daddy, he goes for it on this. This isn't a paycheck gig for him. He's like really in. That's why he sells it. It gets you pretty pumped up, actually. Listen, come with me.
I'm gonna take a little umbrage with your stance on Heroes because I actually think this is the one album where every remake and or remix is superior to its original. I will listen to Come With Me every day. Kashmir, I'm just like, it's missing something. Even like the David Bowie Heroes, I'm like, it's good, but it's not Godzilla good. And I won't even listen to Brain Stew if it doesn't have the roars in it. Forget it.
I love how they call it a remix. Green Day's Brain Stew, it's a remix. It's the Godzilla remix. It's just Brain Stew with Godzilla roaring in it.
No, but there's actually I won't know. So you can tell me. Like the strings aren't in the original, are they?
No, you're right. Yeah. So they added some.
No, it's such a more complex song about brain barfing. And that was the first Green Day song I ever heard, I think.
Oh wow. I
take it back. It was the first 2 Green Day songs I ever heard must have been within 2 weeks of each other, because the first Green Day song I ever heard was Time of Your Life during the Seinfeld finale, and then I heard this one, which would be a couple weeks later.
This album was pretty big for me in '98 because I think my all-time most listened to song ever is One Headlight by the Wallflowers. It has to be.
Good song.
I can't think of it. It's a perfect driving song. That Run by Snow Patrol, that's another beautiful driving song. I can't think of another song. So I was like, Wallflowers are on this. And then Puff Daddy, who was getting huge in '98. And then you have Dave Grohl, like I was a big Nirvana fan, I was a big Foo Fighters fan, dropping a song, and then Brick from Ben Folds. I didn't know what it meant when I was like 14, 15 listening to it, but I really liked Brick by Ben Folds, and he was on this. I had this album, and I remember just like this thing hits. You got Jamiroquai on here. Like this is
So Jamiroquai is what sold me originally. This also goes to show like just like the weird thinking of a kid. But my favorite song at that point was Virtual Insanity, right? So the commercial, or one of the commercials for the Godzilla soundtrack, and they marketed this almost as much as they did the movie. But one of the commercials I saw was they said, and the hit follow-up to Virtual Insanity by Jamiroquai, Deeper Underground. In my head, not really understanding anything about music, I was like, oh, this is like a sequel song, which means this takes place after Virtual Insanity, like thinking somehow this was like an interconnected story of like Virtual Insanity, and then everything got too crazy, so we had to go underground because it was too virtually insane. So I was like, I have to get this soundtrack because this is like the sequel song, which makes no sense. That's not a thing. But in my head, it made total sense as a kid.
so it's the Jamiroquai song universe, the JSU.
Yeah, for some reason I thought that was like what they meant by that, not just like, oh no, this is just like their next song.
And like I know we're just railing, like we've done Batman Forever, we've done Batman and Robin. I had a great time with those, but this one, when you suggested this to me, I went on a walk and I put my buds in and I started listening to this soundtrack, and I think I immediately messaged you. I'm like, this hits, this goes for, and also Rage Against the Machine. I had the cassette, like Killing in the Name of. I was singing them when I was 12. Like, just knowing that they were on here, I was a little confused by that though. Rage Against the Machine on this, because even though they diss Godzilla in No Shelter, they're still on the Godzilla soundtrack. It's like when I listen to American Idiot by Green Day, they're like, One Nation Controlled by the Media. I'm like, but this song is played everywhere by the media. So who is
I don't know.
the
I kind of, part of me thinks like, is this a little bit of Tyler Durden putting the one frame of a penis in the movie reel? Like, is this them being like, yeah, we're going to get into the eye of the hurricane to yell about the hurricane because that's where you are, you know?
and listen, I think that's what they said. Tom Morello said that, and he said
Right.
it opened doors for them. They probably got paid for it. I know that Foo Fighters got paid a ton of money to put their song on this album, so they probably did that. And they also, I mean, it is pretty punk rock to diss the movie that you're on the soundtrack and you diss the movie. I guess that's a pretty good look. And also take digs at Steven Spielberg and Amistad.
Just,
And
yeah, the weirdest, like, I still don't quite get the A to C on Amistad, but sure.
but this one thing we were talking about too is this movie was everywhere in 98. And even as a 16-year-old without a cell phone, without internet, it was everywhere. Like, size does matter. The ads, the teaser trailers of the fishing, of them kind of saying we're better than Jurassic Park, and then the albums, and then the videos, and then the Taco Bell, and then the toy line that ended up helping Trendmasters go out of business in the end because it just didn't sell that much, and they released a huge campaign on it, like the embargo, the secrecy. Like this, I read a review that said this movie was too big to fail but not good enough to become a blockbuster. I think that makes sense because the way they marketed this thing, it was gonna make money, and it was Godzilla. It was just an odd Godzilla movie, which I wish Jan de Bont would have directed it.
It's like, well, the big thing was like, all right, Independence Day just blew everyone away. So this was like, here's Roland Emmerich's follow-up. And at that point, Roland Emmerich hadn't become like a punchline, not everything was like a geostorm. Like it truly was like, here's the next big thing. They also like, and I know there's been criticisms, but in hindsight, I'm like, I actually think it was smart. No matter what anyone says, you never saw the whole thing. You saw the foot, you saw the close-up of the eye, but you never saw the whole thing. And as a kid, like, I'd never seen Godzilla, the original. I wasn't going to sit through that. I didn't care about any of that. So like, Godzilla might as well just been a brand new thing to me. I knew it was a dinosaur of some sort, or some, amalgamation of dinosaurs and lizards or whatever it was going to be, but you didn't know what it looked like. I thought that was cool. I still think that's cool. The marketing was 1,000% on point. It was unfortunate. Like the movie just wasn't there for it, you know?
And I grew up watching Godzilla movies, so I knew about the guys in the suits. I loved Kong versus Godzilla. I got depressed when Godzilla didn't come out of the water against Kong versus Godzilla. I I was a big fan of it, but you're right. Like I was a big fan of Universal Soldier, Stargate, and Independence Day. So this movie had me legit hyped. I don't think I left the theater feeling depressed. I don't think I was that angry about it, but I knew something was missing. I knew
It's funny
that
that you phrased it like that, because I always thought, see, people think that I have terrible taste, and they think I have terrible taste because it's all nostalgia based. I have some of my fondest memories of the day I saw this movie, like bar none. It was a big day for me. Like I could tell you everything about that day. But this is the first movie, because every movie I saw as a kid, no matter what, if I went to the theater saw it, that was the best movie I'd ever seen. Every movie I saw was only as good as the last one I had seen, and I'd never seen a clunker. It just wasn't possible. This was the first movie that I recall in my life watching it, and I was like, I don't know about that one. I don't know about, and it wasn't until like a couple days later I was like, I don't think I like that. I didn't know that was possible.
and it starts hot, right? Godzilla with the sort of the overhead shots, the giant footprints. Like if a movie has an overhead shot of a giant footprint, I'll probably give it a C at least, like immediate C. It won't go any lower than that. But then you get to New York, and then you get what Audrey's character, Maria Patillo, and you're just thinking, ooh, I don't know about. And then you get Dr. Nick Tatopoulos, who's named after the production designer, Patrick Tatopoulos, who went on to direct Underworld 3, by the way. And yeah. And then Jean Reno's like, and then Hank Azaria is just animal, and then you have Ebert, which I got that gag, and then you get baby dinosaurs, and there's no other. Godzilla's not fighting anything, and then a submarine supposedly shoots it, and yeah, it's.
I think you made it further into the rewatch than I did. I made it, it's funny because I was like, all right, I'm making a concentrated effort to watch this again. And I was like, I'll, like any movie, even a movie I like, it takes me a couple days because I have a kid now. And it's usually I'll watch in like 30-minute chunks. So a movie will take me 3 to 4 days to get through. Dude, with this one, I was getting down to like 3 or 4 minute chunks where I was just like, okay, that's enough for today. Like I'm not, and I can't pinpoint. It's not better or worse than a lot of other movies that I like, but for some reason, this one just like the minute you get to New York, it's just so boring. It's so boring.
It becomes about a reporter's dream of making it big, like Audrey. Like, but then she uses Nico, and then she makes a speech, and you're sitting here and you're like, there's a dinosaur in this movie, and it has a $200 million budget. They could show this dinosaur. Like this isn't like this. Like I know they put it at night, they put it in the rain to kind of hide the VFX, but the dinosaur could be here. Like we don't need this story about two exes meeting up in New York City and sort of getting over whatever it is they had, and then she breaks up with him, and then he works with worms in Chernobyl. That's way too much plot for a Godzilla movie, Billy. The way
I just like, the thing is, like, it works so well in Independence Day, and you have so many other characters. But the thing is, I think you're right. There's a sense of urgency in Independence Day.
There's a countdown.
And there's a countdown, literally. And it's like we learn about these interpersonal relationships. We just get kind of thrown into like this weird, like sexual harassment thing. And like, but then it's like she's also very unlikable. So it's very difficult. And you don't know who these people are. And you're right. You're just like, you guys realize there's like a huge monster coming. It's almost like everyone's just like killing time until the monster comes, whereas Independence Day, like you feel it, like it just starts. And I feel like that's where, I don't think it's fair to compare two different movies, but if you're just trying to go off of like, why do I feel one thing for this and the other, it's like because the aliens were always the looming threat. Godzilla feels like once it comes, then it becomes a Godzilla movie. But up until that point, that movie just doesn't know what it wants to be. You can't just throw in a casual sexual harassment plot and then just be like, oh yeah, that's just window dressing. Like, no, I want to know about that if that's the story you're telling.
It's like, and if you look at the later Godzilla movies, at least they learned from it, because 2014 Godzilla, there's a lot of Godzilla mayhem in that. It fights the Mutos. Shin Godzilla is like a whole new spin with a lot of creature in it. Zero reporters in this dealing with sexual harassment lawsuits by someone from The Simpsons, and yeah, but it's still no, it's yeah. I wish I would have seen Steve Miner's Godzilla 3D that he was working on, and or John DeBont, who he had Stan Winston do Godzilla for him, and then they were worried it would be too expensive, so they shelved it, and then it ended up being more expensive when Roland Emmerich directed it. Which just let Jan DeBont tell his Godzilla movie with Stan Winston's. Yeah,
he did Twister, right?
Yeah, and Speed.
Oh man, anyone who does Twister gets to do whatever they want for the rest of time. But it's still, even when I was watching it, like it's still, this is hard to describe. Godzilla still feels like a big deal when you're watching it, even though it's like, I don't like this, I don't think this is particularly interesting, but it still feels big time. Whereas opposed to like years later, I went and saw Day After Tomorrow and I was like, this feels cheap, this feels like kitschy, whereas like Godzilla still felt like a real, it felt like a big swing and a miss, whereas like later on I feel like he, a swing and a miss at least is like an attempt, whereas like now we get to, like I said, like Geostorm feels like he's just trying to get hit by the pitch to get on base. Like it's not even a real at bat anymore.
Wait. I like that analogy. Like,
yeah.
Oh man, so like, is that? See, I love M. Night Shyamalan because he swings big, and then Day After Tomorrow. Yeah, so Independence Day is a home run. Day After Tomorrow is a single, and Geostorm's getting hit by the pitch.
Or Moonfall, whatever the last.
Moonfall's beautiful. That's like a 4 out of 5 movie for me. Patrick
but you
Wilson
remember
goes to space to fight the moon.
But as you know, I don't have time to like anything ironically anymore. So
I love it. I love it though. It's earnest. Like I have an earnest love for Moonfall. But I think Patrick Wilson's from St. Pete, and so am I. So I just give him a pass.
Okay. That's fair. I just mean like it just seems like they just stopped trying, like they accepted, and they're like kind of winking with the audience now with the like Roland Emmerich movies. It's like, exactly what you're gonna get, wink wink, not but back here, this kind of to me was the end of like, oh, Roland Emmerich at that point, and I know it sounds ridiculous, but remember in the context of 98, he's up there with like the Spielberg, Michael Bay, like you go see the movie because it's a Roland Emmerich movie. You would never do that today. But back then it was like, oh my God, the Independence Day creators this is the new one,
He was 3 for 3. I mean, Universal Soldier should have gotten Dolph Lundgren an Oscar nomination. Stargate, like that's a fun movie. Like
the biggest freaking franchise that no one's ever watched, but somehow has a billion spinoffs.
I mean, it's such a great idea. You just walk through this circular thing and you can be anywhere. Right. And we'll just add some jelly looking effects and you can walk through it. Boom, you're in Atlantis. Done. And then Independence Day, which I mean just shook the world. And you're right though, this one, the build up, they find Nick Tatopoulos getting earthworms, and then he finds a gigantic footprint, and then the boats get pulled under the water, and there's like this air of mystery about it. And then the guy goes fishing and the Godzilla stomps on things. And I would say up until about the introduction of Audrey, this movie works. I really think this movie works up until that. And then she starts stealing from Nico, and yeah. And then there's baby dinosaurs.
That doesn't trip me up, maybe because by that point I was just like, okay. Like I wasn't too precious. Again, I'm not precious about Godzilla. To this day, like I went and I saw the 2014 Godzilla thinking like, okay, this is going to be like the better version. And then I walked out of that movie being like, I don't think, I think it's not you, it's me. I just don't think I like Godzilla and King Kong. Like, I just don't think the big monster things. It's the same thing with like Transformers. Just kind of isn't my jam. I just don't. Or Pacific Rim monsters and robots and big things fighting each other. It just doesn't interest me.
All right, and the humans weren't too interesting in the 2014 Godzilla, so then that's like a double whammy for you.
It just was the only thing I remember about that movie. Like literally, the only thing I remember is like somehow they always ended up randomly with air quotes where Godzilla was going to be next. They never chased him down, but they just had the worst luck ever that wherever the plot needed them to be for Godzilla to be there, it was just the worst day of their lives.
We need a comedy now with like Danny McBride and Sam Richardson. And wherever they go, Godzilla shows up. And they're just like, come on, man. And then they got to drive their pickup away from it. That's the movie.
I mean, you really just described how I felt watching 2014 Godzilla. I was like, come on, man. Like, like really?
The best part, though, is Godzilla takes a nap. At the end of Godzilla 2014, it just lays down and starts snoozing. And I remember I looked over at my wife, Megan. I'm like, Godzilla's taking a nap. And then Godzilla wakes up, is kind of grumpy, gets back in the water and swims away. Like, you idiots created this thing. I had to fight it, mumbling to himself, like, Reza, frezza, fricka, fracka. At that moment, I grew to love the big guy because he's just an old guy who's sleeping and got woke up because he had to fight some creatures, got grumpy about it, won, took a nap, and swam home. That's that movie.
I just feel like none of these movies really like get to the core of like Jurassic Park. There's only like, I don't know, 15 minutes or so, give or take, of like actual dinosaur in that movie, but you don't know because you're so engrossed in the story too of just like the ethical dilemma, really. And it's like Godzilla has its own kind of like story about that, but they always choose to kind of like put that to the side and focus more on like bang bang bam bam. And I'm still waiting for the Godzilla where it's like I'm more interested in the intellectual part of like, you reap what you sow. You guys did this, so here's the consequence. And like, let's talk about that, let's flesh that out. But that doesn't seem to ever be anyone's main interest.
Yeah, this one, it was
from
French,
the two that I've seen.
It was French Polynesian, right? And so you're like, oh well, the French did it, and Jean Reno's like, we did it, so I just got to keep it under wraps. That's why I'm here.
Like, yeah, we did it. What do you have to say?
Yeah. But I got to protect my country. And then 2014, they've just been around forever because they're Earth protectors. But that takes away from what the 1952 or 1954 Godzilla, where it was caused by the A-bomb. Like it was a result of that. And so there is a message behind it. And then it ditches any message to just have a grumpy Godzilla fighting things. And then just kind of being, and then like 11 Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things is kind of like, oh, I know where it is, and then they're like, oh no. And yeah, I
see like that's what I think. Like when you think about like Jurassic Park, what's Jurassic Park about? It's about man playing God and how that goes wrong. Independence Day, what is that about? It's about a group of people who all disagree with each other that have to come together because there's no other choice to stop a bigger threat. What is Godzilla about? I don't really know.
Okay, let's before okay, 1998 Godzilla is about,
it's about a lot of things, but nothing at the same time.
So yeah, sure, some nuclear testing turns an iguana into a large monster, totally innocent, goes to New York, was like, hey, I'm gonna lay some eggs because he's pregnant, I'm gonna lay some eggs. And then the military attacks it, the military gets beat up, the thing lays eggs, but then they got to destroy all the eggs, and then they got to kill Godzilla, but then one egg is left, and then you get there's nothing. It's not about anything.
Yeah, and I think that's what that movie's missing. The spectacle is there. Even now, like I still think like there's something charming, and I really like those. It's kind of early, the shots of the helicopter going through all the buildings in New York. Like the sizzle's all there. I needed a steak to put it on, you know.
You're dropping
I'm hungry.
People getting hit by balls. There's you need some steak.
Some steakless garnish, man.
now before we get too much more into the movie, I do want to go back to the soundtrack because
yes, please.
And I want to read the best-selling albums of 98 to you real quick. Okay. And I want to see what Godsmack sold 4 million albums that year.
But yeah, I didn't even know Godsmack was around.
Cher, 20 million. Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, 20 million. Brandy, Never Say Never, 15 million. Ray of Light, Madonna, 14 million. Wide Open Spaces, Dixie Chicks, 13.7. So female artists dominated the top 5. 6 was a the best of U2 from 1980 to 1990. 7 was Kid Rock, Ba with the Ba. 8
Mm,
Americana, and then you had 2 number 1 albums, Double Live by Garth Brooks and Mariah Carey's. And then toss in hits by Phil Collins, and those are the highest selling albums of the year. But the highest selling soundtracks are City of Angels,
yeah.
sold 7 million. 7 million.
For one song,
Yeah.
essentially.
A
Yeah.
banger. An
all
absolute
time. Yes,
banger.
I'll give you that. But one song. Come on.
And then we had at number 26, Armageddon, which is another one song.
Yeah.
I don't want to miss a thing.
Couldn't tell you another song on that soundtrack if you put a gun to my head.
No, but those 2 songs were everywhere. They were family friendly. They kind of hit, and they sold a combined almost like more than 12 million albums for those essentially 2 songs.
Yeah. Did people not know that CD singles were a thing back then? You could just buy that song. No?
12 million. That's
Yeah.
crazy. And so these things sold 12 million, and then we get to Godzilla. Guess how many albums? You probably know this, but guess how many?
No,
Godzilla?
I don't know this.
Oh, 2.5 million. Oh, I should have let you guess. Never mind.
I was about to say 4, so I would have been wrong, but that seems low.
Yeah, it is, right? And also, I mean, Rob Zombie sold 3.2 million that year from Hellbilly Deluxe. So Rob Zombie defeated Godzilla. I kind of like saying that. But yeah, 2.5 million, but the problem is, like, Come With Me was big. Deeper Underground was number 1 in the UK dance charts. That was her first number 1, Jamiroquai's first number 1 there. But there's no Iris. There's no I Don't Want to Miss a Thing. These are more aggressive songs.
Which I thought, and you know, it's one of those things where like maybe the narrative of time has changed it, but I thought that's what Heroes was supposed to be. Was supposed to be the kind of the radio friendly anthem.
This is where you and I might disagree. I love Jacob Dylan. Like I'm a big fan of the Wallflowers, but Iris, just what Johnny Resner, what he's able to accomplish. No, I'm not going to sing it. Like that one, there's the emotion. You feel the emotion. I Don't Want to Miss a Thing. Like Steven Tyler just crushes it. I love Heroes, but he never. I think Jacob Dylan never hits that like real emotional high on Heroes. Like,
no, don't get me wrong. I like that song. I like it. I like it better than the Bowie version. I'm not trying to put it in the same category as Iris. I think that's ridiculous. If we're talking like top 10 songs from like a movie soundtrack that's not explicitly operetta style in the movie, like we're talking like I Will Always Love You, Bodyguard, My Heart Will Go On, Titanic, Iris. It's in the top 5. Like hands 9 to 5 maybe, you know, like it's in rarefied air.
Yeah. And I think that's why it only sold 2.5 million, because Puff Daddy's Come With Me, he's like, I can't, like, I'll fucking bite you, I can't stand, like it's pretty aggressive. Then
I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. But like you got Rage Against the Machine, then you have like I don't know, you have Foo Fighters, you have, and I mean, as much as I love on Silverchair, they were on their 3rd album. They kind of weren't too hot at the time when they did this. Days of the New had just sold 1.5 million albums on their debut. Jamiroquai was big, but they weren't.
They were like a borderline one-hit wonder with, you know, they had Canned Heat, but I don't remember Canned Heat being big until Napoleon Dynamite kind of pushed that one,
Yeah,
you know, really big. I couldn't even tell you how old that song was by the time that movie came out, but yeah, it's not like you're still talking about Jamiroquai. They're not doing reunion tours, to best of my knowledge right now. You know,
I'm surprised that Fuzz Bubble, their song Out There, didn't do better. No, I'm joking.
They're the only song on this whole soundtrack that back then I thought was like, what? And even now I'm like, huh?
Joey Deluxe?
Yes, what is that? What is that? What is that song? Why is that there?
James Bond. I can't even listen to it all the way through, Billy.
It's very like Don Adams, Get Smart, like Secret Agent Man. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, it hurts. It does. But okay, this is a huge question. Which
Yeah.
soundtrack? You're going to a desert island,
Yeah.
fully stocked food, great coffee. Like you're
Sure.
gonna be happy there.
Okay.
All the VHS tapes you can watch, electricity, a hut. You have coffee growing. When they pick you up from this island, you're gonna be in the same shape as when they dropped you off.
Okay.
Like 3 years later, everyone's like, "Oh, hey, it's Billy," and you're like, "Hey guys, come hang out." Like I made some coffee. I made some margaritas. Like that's
My kids past the toddler years. Love it.
so
I
they say,
skipped it all.
"Hey guys, look at this field I built."
I'm
So
loving this hypothetical so far.
you
It's coming up all Billy.
you
So
have you have like just birds are friends with you. They're all on you. Like the local fauna is like beautiful. There's a picturesque waterfall. No snakes.
okay.
Life is
This is
good.
okay.
You're not even talking to yourself. You don't have a volleyball with a face on it. You're not spear fishing like Tom Hanks in Castaway. Someone goes, you can pick one soundtrack, and they go Batman Forever, Batman and Robin, or Godzilla. Which soundtrack do you take?
I think I have to take Godzilla. I love look you. I don't have to explain to anyone that's listening to this that's heard the other ones. I don't have to explain my love for Batman, but Godzilla, like track for track, like there's maybe like two songs I'm like one I clearly dislike, and then one I'm like, but like Foo Fighters, Puff Daddy, Ben, like I remember, I don't remember if we did this for Batman and Robin, but Batman Forever, you asked me like if you could take three songs, what's like your three songs from the soundtrack? Like I thought about that listening to this. I'm like, I don't know. There's three songs that I would have picked in 98. There's probably three different ones that I would pick today. I don't think I could do that for this. So for that reason alone, like I think I have to take Godzilla.
Because you have Heroes. So we're playing this through, right? Heroes
Mhm.
playing it. Come with me playing it. Deeper Underground playing it. No Shelter playing it. Air by Ben Folds 5 playing it. Running Knees. I might pour some coffee on my island when it's on.
Right.
Macy Day Parade. Fine.
I like that
Chill.
one.
Yeah. Like Walk the Sky though. It starts off like the guitar and bass line sound like they're playing under mud, but then eventually builds. It actually sounds pretty nice. Going. I like Fuel. I like the song Shimmer.
Oh, I
And then,
like that song a lot. Remember, I just said like today Billy would probably pick three different ones in 98. I think Walk the Sky ends up on today Billy's list.
oh, I can't even hit that thing. And then, but then like Brain Stew. So Dave Grohl said of all the songs that he's put on soundtracks, like remember the Varsity Blues commercials? Hero was one of the big parts of the marketing for Varsity Blues. Dave Grohl said A320 is his favorite song that they ever put on a soundtrack. He said it was the closest thing they've ever done to prog rock, and they hate the movie. They went and watched it and laughed at it, but they got paid a ton of money and they got to put a song that probably wouldn't have ever gotten radio play on it. And then Untitled, like I love Silverchair. I don't know if you ever listened to Silverchair
I've only
growing up.
heard like one other song of theirs that I really liked at the time. It was super depressing, but I liked it.
Very depressing. So
Yeah.
this album has led me down some fun playlists. So I did a Silverchair playlist. I did a Rage Against the Machine playlist. I've been going back to like I even did like Nirvana. It got me in a Nirvana state of mind. So I've been just jamming out to various 90s rock bands because of this. And then yeah, we have what Fuzz Bubble. They're fine. P Diddy found them, signed them. And then Undercover. I'll go for a jog.
Bathroom break.
Yeah. Yeah, the coffee's through me now.
Yeah.
So I'll go to the bathroom. But this, like, Batman Forever doesn't boast that. Batman and Robin doesn't have that either.
Batman and Robin gets closer to me of like, even though I like Batman Forever better as a movie, and I like the three songs that I really like from Batman Forever, I like them better than like any song of Batman and Robin. But as a sum, I think Batman and Robin is just a better listen because there's just some yuck on Batman Forever. But I think this one blows it away, like by far. And it's just like I just like the music better. This album has two things going for it. One, even with P Diddy and minus the weird undercover song, at least like we joked about Batman and Robin, like it just felt all over the map, like different genres trying to get a little bit of everyone. This feels pretty rock, even with P Diddy, because you got Jimmy Page there. It's pretty rock.
It's a rock song.
It is. And two, I think, especially like listening to A320 again, like not every song, but most songs have this really like cinematic quality. There's strings on a lot of these songs that kind of like elevate them to feel a little bit more epic, slightly more unified, just as an album sound. Like it just feels bigger than the other two soundtracks.
And the videos had a theme. Heroes, it's Jacob Dylan. He's in an apartment complex. The tail hits the building, and then there's a hole in it. And then
Right.
Jamiroquai, he's in the theater. Godzilla comes out, attacks the
That
theater.
video's awesome.
Awesome. And then
Like
P.
it looks
Diddy,
dated, but it's awesome.
and like this sliding around on cars. Like, it's amazing. And then P. Diddy, before he gets to the choir, his building gets smashed in. So there's a narrative thread through all between all three Godzilla songs. This wasn't an accident. These three songs you play them back to back, there's a narrative that gets played. So this was a very organized attack.
Even to the point of like, I
senses.
love that the roar at the end of Come With Me follows into Deeper Underground. Like you can't lift those two tracks out without them kind of being like a With a Little Help from My Friends on Sergeant Pepper, where it's like you're always going to get the tail end of the first song because that's just the way it was made. I think that's really cool, and they kind of do it again with Brain Stew, just putting the roars in there, kind of even like not even if it was accidental, but it kind of adds like a bookend. It makes it feel like a concept album in a way, just by putting the roars in, you know.
All right, so let's do this real quick. We're going to an island, separate islands.
Sure.
They're just as good. Like,
okay,
if you picked one, you wouldn't feel bad. Like, maybe I should have taken Mark's. They're exact same. Weather, everything. Same birds. It's kind of scary. It's like Westworld almost.
So are you like Isla Sorna and I'm Isla Nublar? Yeah. Like we're just about 100 miles apart, a nice little boat ride.
Exactly. Yeah, we can just do a parasail over to each other, and we
With
won't have
to video cam.
We don't have to worry about compies eating us, or William H. Macy and Teo Leone screaming on our island.
Eric, Eric.
Hello, Ellen. I would love that dream. No, and we have talking raptors on our island that are totally sociable.
Great, love it.
So let's do this. Let's each pick three. Let's do it draft style.
Okay.
So if when one gets taken off the board, this might be easier for me because there's about 8 I take to an island. So I'll let you have first pick. You can pick your first one.
Okay.
From the Godzilla soundtrack, and then I'll go second, and then we'll each pick 3. All
right. Well, I think I have to, because it's what got me through the door. I think I have to take Deeper Underground.
Because that's what you were excited about.
That was the one that I was like, a sequel song sold.
The JSU.
I've even like made it in my head that like the lyrics somehow tell a big story between the two.
Virtual insanity leads you deeper underground. That's basically Terminator.
Essentially, it is very much like we geneticized all, because you know, like, and now every mother can't choose the color of her child. It's like, yeah, you guys went too far with technology, you made everything too big, and now the only place safe that you can go is deeper underground. It's a sci-fi kind of novella.
And even his song's a little rock heavy. It's got some guitars on it. It's a little more aggressive than Virtual Insanity.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna take Brain Stew. I got okay. When it's like it starts super chill, but when the guitars kick in, like when it starts rocking, I feel like I'm like Wayne from Wayne's World when Bohemian Rhapsody comes on in my car, just like, or no, like Beavis and Butthead when they're listening to rock, just going like, yeah. That's me during Brain Stew.
But also I love at the end of that version of Brain Stew, you get the again another Sergeant Pepper reference, like Day in the Life on Sergeant Pepper. At the end of that, you get the violins that are just going up and up and up and up and up the scale, and you kind of get that at the end of this version of Brain Stew, where it's just like building out of control with the strings, and then you just get that like just release. You know,
we picked good. I think these are my two favorite songs on the track.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. No, okay, no, there's others.
That's why this is a good soundtrack. This is
I know, yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
All right, what's your second pick?
Second pick, okay, you know I'm a big WWE guy, and if there ever was a world where I was a professional wrestler and I was I was rich and powerful enough that I could demand as part of my contract, they must license this song. This would 100% be my entrance theme. It was on every gym playlist I ever had. I'm taking Come With Me.
Yeah. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. Oh, this huge, like, just smoke goes up in the air, some flames.
And
Yeah.
like, you know, that part where he's like, I cry tears of sorrow, I die. You just stand on the entrance ramp as the choir builds and you put your arms up. The pyro goes off behind you, and you're walking to the ring like, fuck my enemies, fuck my foes. And you're like, yeah, I'm about to just kill someone. Even it's just like in the spirit of competition, like, I love you, but you annoy me. You know, like I'm gonna hit you.
I want footage of how your demeanor changes from when you step out onto, like, when you're entering like the walkway, from walking down the ramp as the song plays. Like, you're gonna slowly sort of, you know how James McAvoy's regular McAvoy, but then he becomes the Beast in Split. Like, that's gonna be who
Yeah.
you're gonna become during the
I
course of
think you
this
do it
song.
kind of like Triple H. When you first come out, you're very slow. Maybe you take the water, you pour it on your head, you look kind of side to side. That gets you through the first minute or so. You walk halfway down the ramp, and then as soon as like the I cry and the vocals come on, you got to be wearing a cape or a robe of some sort. You throw it off, and that's when you power walk to the rest of the ring, and you get up on the turnbuckles, and the arms go up for the rest of it. I mean, come on now.
You're spitting out the coffee from the island that we have that's delicious.
So if I have the time to actually work out on this island, I think I need that song, because that's a good running song. That's a good pumping iron song. Like it's top 5 best workout songs ever.
So you have Deeper Underground.
And
Oh my
Come With Me.
gosh. And I have Brain Stew. That's a pretty pumped up song. This is tough. I'm gonna take No Shelter, because why not? Let's get angry on this island. Let's, like, that's a good workout. I'm gonna be lifting coconuts. I'm gonna be climbing trees. I'm gonna be running in the sand because it's great for your calves. So I mean, I need that song. I need some angry. Oh man, there'll be. You know what's funny? There's plenty of shelter on the island, so it's a little ironic. So I can listen to it like, hey, I'm on a desert island, but I have plenty of cover. So I have plenty of shelter.
And it could just remind you of like how gross the mainland is with their commercialism.
I'm like living this like totally beautiful life full of bartering and all of this kind of stuff. And but now listen, if I was on an island that was miserable, I wouldn't take No Shelter. Like, I don't want to be reminded, like when it's raining on me and I'm sitting underneath a palm frond, I don't want to have this song playing, because
Probably not.
no. So since we're living
Unless
a,
like you're responsible for like you know, Robinson Crusoe, you got to find your way back and build like a ship or something, this might motivate you. But if you're like happily content there, you know, it's not going to inspire you to leave, you know.
yeah, I'll just be hanging out to it. I'll
Yeah.
just become very bitter towards the establishment while I'm on my beautiful island.
Yeah, if anything, it just justifies the reason why you're taking a leave from the mainland, you know.
Exactly. And I'm going to turn into a resort afterwards. So that's equally ironic. I'll just.
A triple irony, right?
What's your third pick here?
I think I gotta, and I would not definitely not have picked this as going into 7th grade, but today I'm definitely taking A320. I think that's my cinematic, that's my cool down, you know. Here's how I see it, honestly. Even though I picked it, I didn't pick it this order, but it's like, okay, I'm gonna listen to Come With Me. That's my pre-workout. Let's get in the zone. That's, you know, get your head right, get your head in the game. Let's get ready to work. Then you got Deeper Underground. That's got a faster BPM. That's gonna keep me going. It inspires me. Let's get deeper underground. Let's push a little deeper, dig a little deeper. And then after the workout, I'm gonna take a little bit of a cool down with A320 and let those sweet strings kind of fade me out.
Oh, the whole plan. Your island life is wonderful out
Yeah,
here.
I have time to keep healthy and fit. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, they drop you off, and when they pick you up, they're like, "You look great."
Oh, it'd be like going to prison. Like I would come like I would be like super cut, little tattoo I made myself.
All the creatures are sad that you're leaving. Like they line up and perform a song. Yeah,
But yeah, that's the story I would tell with my 3 picks.
Okay, so I got I have Brain Stew and No Shelter. That's heavy. So I'm gonna either go between Air or Heroes because I really like Air by Ben Folds 5, but I'm gonna take Heroes to kind of leave on an upper. Like that's a more positive message. Air's good, but yeah, like, he likes songs about I'm a brick and she's drowning slowly, and then
Dude,
Air.
okay, so I loved that song when it came out, Break. And I remember I was telling my mom because I wanted to get the CD of Ben Folds, and she was like, I don't know. And you know how my mom was about music, I told you. So we were driving home, and I remember Brick comes on the radio. I was like, Mom, this is the song, this is the song. And afterwards, just like I was like, isn't that such a great song? And just the look on her face, it wasn't like shock, it wasn't anything. It was just like defeat, like she had just been told like her dog died. She was just like, you like that song? I was like, yeah, it's like really melodic. I really, I didn't use that word, but it's like, yeah, like I really like that song. And she's just like, oh, okay. And then we never talked about it ever again.
Wow.
Like I didn't realize it till years later what that song was about.
That's a great point about being melodic. It's like it's not me you're dying for, and you're feeling more low. Like there's a lot of it's a good, very good song. But yeah, I didn't know it. And also I listened to The Freshman a lot growing up by The Verve. That's another intense song to be jamming
There's a
out to.
lot of them back in the day.
I listen to that
Yeah.
all the time. But yeah, so I'll
but
take
but this was a
Heroes.
different this is a bit different Ben Folds than the one I was used to. So even when I listened to this, because I just loved Brick so much, and I listened to this, I was like, this is okay. Like I don't dislike this. It's just not what I was expecting. But now in hindsight, I don't know what I was expecting.
I think we did it though. We got Wallflowers, Puff Daddy, Jamiroquai, Rage, Foo Fighters. Holy mackerel, man, in Green Day. This is a stacked. This is stacked. And I love Silverchair. And I like Fuel.
I I,
And
I
I like
like the
Ben
fuel.
Folds.
Yeah, you still left out some bangers, but you had to, you know.
Oh, I'm happy. This has been researching this never really felt like work because it took me back to 98. That was the year that I got my driver's license so I could drive. I I watched Can't Hardly Wait and I learned about Damn It by Blink 182. It's probably my all-time favorite song. And it like that was just a summer of going to the theater by myself and like driving around and cruising and just remember like I had a $1,500 Dodge Shadow that had a horrible paint job and the top leaked, but it didn't matter. I lived in Florida and I could put the top down. It was awesome. Like I think the windows didn't go down, and then for a time my windshield wipers didn't work. So one time I had to get out, take my shoes, and tie one of my shoelaces around one of the windshield wipers. Then I had to tie my other one to the windshield wiper and I had to pull it. So I created a pulley system to clean
You
my
weekend at Bernie's your car.
yeah. I did. Like I really did. Like I that was like the summer of sort of freedom and this movie too. If you were, I'm telling you, if you were alive on Earth, you knew you weren't on an island that we were on, even though we would probably still hear about on our island because we have like seagulls bringing us the news. It's a whole new wrinkle to our island, but you knew about this, like the Yo Quiero Taco Bell and the Godzilla, and oh man, it was and size does matter. Like it was just everywhere, and so it's been fun to kind of get back in this mindset of 98 and all the promotion of this movie and the soundtracks, like just the banger soundtracks.
My mom took me out of school to see this movie because back where I lived at that time, the movie theater, there was a handful of movie theaters, but they were all on the other side of town. This huge, the biggest movie theater that we had seen at that point was just opening. That was right down by my house. And so it was like I went to the theater. She like when it opened, like she took me to the theater, not necessarily to see Godzilla, but because we just wanted to experience this amazing big theater, which now it's like whatever. But back then it was like the coolest thing I'd ever seen. And Godzilla was the first movie that they showed there. And that's why I was like, man, this day is amazing because I've been waiting for like 2 years watching them every time I drove by build this movie theater. We went early. I went to Target. I bought God knows why I bought a Nick Totopoulos action figure, which I think I still have. And this soundtrack in anticipation of like, well, I'm going to want everything once I see this. And then I watched the movie. I was like, those were the only two things I ever got from that movie. I think I bought the DVD years later thinking like, I'll give it another go. I was like, nope, never mind. But that was such a magical day to take me out of school. And there was only like 1 week left of school. I don't know why she didn't just wait until summer started like a week later, but it was like, no, we have to go to this new movie theater when it opens, and seeing that movie and walking out and both of us being like, oh, the Truman Show just opened today. Should we go watch that instead? And I couldn't articulate why at the time, but it's like, why wouldn't you want to go see two movies in one day? But I was like, no, let's go tomorrow. There was something in me that just knew that I was like, if I watch that right now, I'm already kind of in like a weird headspace. Like I want to give that movie a clean slate, it's like
What a movie, Truman Show.
Amazing. The fact that they opened within weeks of each other is mind-boggling, but I couldn't articulate back then why I needed space from Godzilla. But yeah, a turning point. It was like such a beautiful memory with my mom. I say that as though like she's dead. No, she's very much alive, but just one of those key memories of childhood. But also that was the day I feel like I developed my taste, because it was the first time I saw a movie in a theater. It was like, I don't think I liked that. And that's like a turning point, right?
And also, can we so the first movie, when we had a big theater built near our house, my mom and I went and watched Congo. It was a big deal.
Oh, Congo. I remember that movie.
Because the new theater with big sound, it was a big deal to go
stadium seating. Yeah. That was like the big sell, was like stadium seating. Wow.
Blew my mind when we went and saw Congo. We had like 98 to like Titanic, but also you had Deep Impact and Armageddon, which were big event movies. Armageddon hit. And then you had Saving Private Ryan, There's Something About Mary, Waterboy, Rush Hour, like
Mask of Zorro.
Oh, what a movie. I just watched that I did a commentary on the Out Now with Aaron and Abe podcast, and we did a commentary. And watching that again, Martin Campbell is a wonderful director, and Banderas and Zeta Jones. Oh my gosh.
That movie is, you talk about perfect movies, and you Back to the Future, Jaws, Jurassic Park come up a lot. I don't know if it's quite there, but Mask of Zorro is on the bubble of being like, you want to look at how to reboot a property like perfectly. I can't think of a better pitch than Mask of Zorro.
Captain Love, and the sword fight between him and Zeta Jones, and the wide shots that show that they actually were fencing.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And also too, like, I want to say Lethal Weapon 4 and Rush Hour came out, and that had Jet Li and Jackie Chan, and Rumble in the Bronx opened up my world to Hong Kong cinema, and really opened up my world to that. And so when they came over, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even know who Jet Li is, but I'm really excited about this. Like, this is amazing. And then when Danny Glover and Mel Gibson had to both fight him, and they were worried about it, I'm like, this guy's the greatest dude ever. Like, it was a really cool, like, Blade came out. I remember watching Blade in the theater, and like, I still think that opening is one of the greatest opening ever to a superhero film. I'm just gonna say it. It is. It's the number one film. So like this year, 96 or 98, I mean, was just Halloween H2O. I remember watching that in a packed theater and just laughing with a lot of people. And then I did a data post on how he drove from Illinois to California, and that was one of my
Still never seen that one, but I hear it's good.
It's
one
fun.
Of my favorite movies came out in 98 that people hate, but I love it. It was the Titanic Killer. It took Titanic down finally. Lost in Space.
Yeah. Lost in Space. Like,
the Titanic Killer.
It was a good year for movies. And
by the way, you brought up Lethal Weapon. I totally forgot. That might be the trailer I've seen the most out of any movie trailer in my life, because I feel like they attached that to every single movie for about 9 months before. Like, I can in my head remember every beat of, and I think I maybe have seen that movie once, but it's the gas station blows up and they're in the rain, and it's Murtaugh and Riggs like behind the police barricade. They played that trailer so many times,
and that movie hit, right? I remember 16 years old liking it.
I saw it once about 10 years after that, so I have no idea if I liked it or not. And I've only seen all the Lethal Weapon movies one time.
Faculty came out that year. Hard Rain and Deep Rising, two of my favorite jet ski action scene movies. Jackie Brown, Wild Thing. I went and saw Wild Things in the theaters when I was 16. Like I just saw everything that came out. So it was Big Lebowski. It was just a Dead Man on Campus. I got some beers. We should drink them. But yeah, it's Dark City.
Was that the Zach Morris movie?
Yeah.
I've not seen it, but I've heard it's
not
very
good.
of its time. I've heard it's of its time.
But there's a very funny line though, where he's like, "I got some beers. We should drink them." That's like one of my favorite all-time lines for some reason. But I know we got off track, but this was awesome.
X-Files. Sorry,
yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
no, I could keep falling, dude. Time is on time. I'm telling you, man. Like 98 was just a great year for movies for me. And I think 99 got better because I was actually working in a theater at the time. But yeah, this was a cool year. This was a fun year. And I'm glad that we got to talk about this soundtrack. This is awesome, man. So thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thank you.
And Enemy of the State. Everybody and their mothers in that movie, dude. So I'll say, I've watched a lot of movies in the theater. Truman Show is the number one immersive experience I've ever had. I forgot about the outside world watching Truman Show. I was all in on that screen. And I'm going to do an eventual podcast episode where we put up Ed Harris versus Apollo 13, Ed Harris and Apollo 13, and Ed Harris versus in Truman Show against each other and see which one features the best Ed Harris looking at screens performance. Because they're both iconic.
I can already tell you, as a Apollo 13 expert, it's Truman Show because he has other people look at screens in Apollo 13.
Oh, so I'm gonna have to add that into the criteria.
Yes, no, the best looking at a screen acting in Apollo 13 is Clint Howard.
Yeah, I knew it. Yeah, that's his best performance probably ever. All right,
right.
Hey, so where can people find you, man? Where?
Nowhere. Here.
Nowhere.
When I eventually pop my head up, it's only going to be on your show. That's it.
Oh, I love it, man. And yeah, just let me know whatever you want to do next. I'll
lots of soundtracks to mine.
Yeah, please do. Please. This is a really fun series for me. So this was great, man. So for me, Mark Hottopopolis, and for Billy Patterson, this is Movies, Films, and Flicks. We'll see you next week.